kind of what you've been seeing in scrimmages during the week?
Well, no, we've been a little bit better the other day. Today, we practiced back here hard for an hour and 20 minutes before we went out there. So, yeah, we went hard back here because we had some defensive things. We were even going full court back here, working on transition defense, and then we did 4-on-4 defense back here live. So, yeah, we worked hard back here before we ever got out there because we needed to get the work in. So that was sort of the end of the day, and, you know, they were pretty tired when it started.
What do you think of how they play out on the game court? How they perform?
Well, you saw it, so I don't think I need to comment on it.
Stan, anyone in particular that impressed you the most?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that, you know, over the 3 days, the guys who have played, I think, consistently well have been Dwight, Ryan, Von Wafer, and DeAndre Liggins. Those are the guys who've played probably the most consistently well. Everybody else has played very well at times and not as well at other times. But I think those 4 guys have had 3 pretty good days in the scrimmage.
But Liggins' kid seems to really want to put his head down and get to the rim. I mean,
And he makes plays. I think that he and Vaughn, I mean, the things that they've done is they've both been very aggressive offensively and very unselfish offensively, and that's a great combination. I mean, when they draw the second defender, they pass the ball, and they do it without hesitation, without trying to take one more step to see if they can get their own shot. You know, they draw the second defender, they pass the ball, so they're both aggressive, and Vaughn's got one of the quickest first steps there is. You know, his challenge will be more at the defensive end, but offensively, he's played very well. But I like the way that they attack and make plays. I mean, they'll throw the ball to open people.
What can Larry Hughes bring to the mix to you?
Well, I mean, Larry, I think, you know, he can play a lot of different positions. I thought he played very well out there today. I mean, you know, he didn't get a lot of minutes, but I thought he played well. But he's long defensively. He's got great instincts. Very, very smart guy. You know, and he's a veteran guy, so you don't have a problem putting him in the game. But we've obviously got a lot of perimeter players and not so many big guys. And so it even makes it a little bit tough in the scrimmage because the perimeter guys are getting, at least a lot of them, are getting plenty of rest. You know, and in fairness, that's one of the reasons I think Vaughn and DeAndre have looked better than some of our other wing guys is I've pushed our veteran guys a lot more minutes than I have those guys, so fatigue's become an issue. And our big guys get tired because we don't have a lot of them, and so they have to play a lot of minutes when we scrimmage.
Is that the kind of reception that you expected the fans to give Dwight?
Again, I mean, I never know what to expect, and it really wasn't anything I had thought a whole lot about. Or, I mean, I would hope they'd give him that kind of reception, but, you know, that's not really what I'm thinking about.
Coach, I know you haven't had a lot of time with the guys, but do you kind of feel the need to see them play somebody else to get a look?
Well, you know, I mean, I don't know about feel the need. I mean, it's on the schedule, so that's what you do. I mean, you know, quite honestly, I mean, we need a lot more practice time in the gym, and we need – look, the 2 main priorities right now for me are our conditioning has got to improve dramatically, and you know, we've got to work at that hard over the next week. You know, and then our defense, I mean, we've got to get a real commitment to what we're doing defensively, and they sort of go hand in hand because, you know, when we were back here working and doing drill work today, I thought our work was good, and we understand, I think, what we're trying to do defensively, and they did a pretty good job. But then when fatigue sets in, you know, you're a step late on everything. You don't do as good a job, and so those 2 things go hand in hand. And until we can get back really in the condition we need to be, it's going to be hard for us to sustain good play.
With only 2 preseason games, how much do you have to show? How much of your game plan do you show in these preseason games?
I'm not worried about that. I mean, we'll do whatever whatever we have in, we'll use. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to hide anything or trick anybody or do any of that. Again, though, to me, I mean, it's a matter of, you know, every day, it doesn't really matter if it's game or practice at this point. I mean, we're trying to improve our conditioning, number one, and get our defense right, number two, and then hopefully execute offensively a little bit better. But even that's hard to work on until our conditioning and defense get better. I mean, it's just easy to get shots, you know, or at least it was out there today. And so all of that stuff sort of goes hand in hand. And so the conditioning's a high priority.
How
have you
far
seen the
off
last-
is the conditioning compared to the week before a season usually?
Oh,
I mean,
it's not, we're not in the condition now that we normally are in when we open training camp. So, I mean, you know, that's, you know, because we usually take the entire month of September, and we're not in the shape now that we're normally in when we start training camp in October. So,
do you expect that to be league-wide, or?
I don't know. You know, I think that there will be, you know, some teams better and some teams worse. And as far as relative to where we are, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Again, I think when you've been in this league a long time, and I think all the coaches are in the same boat. I mean, you know what it's supposed to look like at various points. I mean, you know what the middle of training camp looks like in terms of conditioning. You know what the start of the season looks like in terms of conditioning. But right now, I mean, you don't have any idea. I know what it looks like here now, but compared to everybody else, I don't have anything. I don't have any idea.
Is it disappointing that the players didn't do more on their
No,
own?
no, it's not. Look, it's not that the players didn't do anything. You can only do so much on their own. I think our players, for the most part, came back in as good a shape as they usually come back in. But they come back, and then we take a month to take them from there to get them ready for training camp, and then we have a month of training camp. So you've bypassed now the entire month of September and 2 weeks of, and half your training camp. So this is no knock on the players. I mean, not here or anywhere else, and I mean that sincerely. I mean, I thought our guys came back in pretty good. You can only do so much yourself. I mean, the intensity of the game, the pace of the game, of an NBA game, getting down and playing defense, all of those things. If our guys just get on a treadmill or run a conditioning test or whatever, they're fine. You know, it's getting back into playing basketball. I don't think it's going to take. I think we can get there by next week. I don't think we're far off. I mean, I just think that players have got to continue to push themselves when we play, and we've got to get them up and down more and more. I don't think it's going to, be that long. Some of the guys I think are pretty close already, and the other ones will take a little bit longer.
Looking
6,
forward
7
to that
practices.
back-to-back?
You know what? I mean, it's everybody's got to play one. It's just part of the schedule. Again, I mean, you play what's on the schedule. Everybody's got at least one. Some have more than one, so it's hard for us to complain about that. Plus, our first one's at 1 in the afternoon, so you get a pretty good recovery time on the second game. So, I mean, I would say we've got very little to complain about with that one.
6, 7 practices in. What do you see the chemistry between Dwight and Big Baby playing the 4 and 5 together?
All of it. And then when Glenn's at the 5 and Ryan's at the 4, I mean, I just think that's going to take time to develop. It really is. I mean, we're both ways. It's going to take time. There's no easy answer there. They're just going to have to play and and get through it. So it'll take some time, but that's not, again, if we can get our conditioning right and get our defense right, I think the rest of it will take care of itself. Those are the priorities right now.